Oh boy. Okay, here we are. We have all those extracted WEM files, and we're ready to split them up by type. It's just two types. I have not so far had any reason to work with BNK files. When I was starting to do this, I was curious about them, and then well, no, when I was starting to do this, I was worried about them, and then later on, I was curious, but I never, I haven't so far gotten to be able to fucking figure out like what they contain. Like when you try to extract WM files from them, you can't use them for anything. You can't convert them into dick; they're useless. But TradeRain was like, stop being a noob, and sent me to a wiki page for the definitions of BNK files. And I at that point I was like, all right, I think I'm just not qualified to be messing around with them. So now that I've given you that little story, while I was selecting all of them, I am going to I would delete them, but if you know what to do with them, or if you plan on finding out what to do with them, just go ahead and paste them into that BNK folder. I kind of did this. I was trying to test out the video, so and then for the rest of them with the WEM files, you go ahead, you cut them, Control X them, go into your WEMs. Come on. Yep. There we go. Okay. Now here we've done that thing. And now we are gonna start really doing the do's of what we gotta do. Maybe later. So, I'm going to pretend that selected text was not selected. And so you're going to find this SoundBanks info file. And to do that, you have to go into wherever you uncooked your Witcher 3 files. There it is. And I believe, there it is. Uncooked SoundBanks and PC. You have SoundBanks info.xml. You gotta copy that and paste it into I just kind of drop it into this here. As you can see, I kind of have it sprinkled everywhere from earlier on when I was doing this. But I settled on that this is the most useful place for it for me. So we're looking for combat. We're looking for something called combat. And let's look for it. When you're looking for stuff in White Orchard, here we go. You're looking for prologue. That's the key word for White Orchard. And what you can see here is that this tune is the layer 2, which suggests that there are more than one layer to the combat sounds, or the combat soundtrack, I guess, which is true. And so we have to find combat layer 1 in this very same file. There we go, prologue, layer 1. I'm going to copy it into this new little file that we have where it's safe and it's easier to look at a little bit. These numbers are the actual name of the WEM file that QuickBMS pulled out of those cache files. That's the name of the file that you're looking for that you need to replace in the game. To start getting to do that, you really should compare two things: the length of this sound and where the fades are. I'll show you what I mean by that momentarily. So we're going to go into our originals and into our WEM folder and search for that number. And this is good. We have it now. So we're going to copy that, and then we're going to go into that Divinity Sound Converter folder that you get when you download and extract it. And I'm just going to paste it right here into this directory, and then we're going to go back again and look for layer 1. You just did layer 2, and now we're going to look for layer 1. That's the number we want. Going to copy this, go into Divinity Sound Converter directory, and paste it there also. Now, what we're going to do is convert these into Ogg Vorbis, which Audacity can read, and to do that, we just drag them and hover them, like drop them like this. It's just right over the thing. And so, uh-oh, it looks, okay, there you go. A little bit of a, there's something going on. Hello, buddies. There we go. And so it's renamed the originals so that you don't get them confused. And it has plopped the converted Oggs into the numbered. Actually, I don't know why it renamed them, but you don't need them anymore. So we're going to take these and we're going to bring them somewhere where we can handle them a little better. And I'm going to pick moving them into the Patacake folder, because these are relevant to, we're going to replace these with this same sound twice to make sure that the layers line up. And so I'm going to open these in Audacity alongside Patacake, and just do a little thing there. Maybe deep, 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 deep. All right. So let's expand this. What you're seeing here is here's the layer 1, and this is layer 2. Probably be nice to name them such. So what we can see here is that it takes a while. The sound does not build until a few seconds after it's cued. And this one, yeah, it takes 3 and a bit seconds to start. And at the end, they kind of fade out, they kind of finish fading about there at 1 minute and 13 seconds and a bit. And this is relevant. Apparently, there's some way to command some part to code or pack in some way the sound files that you insert such that the game reads them in their entirety, and sort of modifies the length of the cues in game to make sure that you get to decide how long they are, right? If you want a really, really long exploration tune, I think there's a way. I think that user who made the Yogg, etc., was hinting at that, but it wasn't clear to me, at least, how to pull that off. So for now, you will have to edit your new sound to respect the length and fades of the original sounds. This ended up being not so great an example of having to trim, but nonetheless, we can use it in the context of generally editing the fades. Now, this is a little bit of a bummer. I know the voice is cute, I enjoy it, but it just, this fade is a lot shorter than this build-up. So I think I'm going to find out where the kid where the second kid counts it out, right?
Sound like it in the pot 9 days old.
1, 2, 3, 4.
So there it is. He starts counting it out right there, and I'm just gonna delete. I'm sorry, friend, but I'm gonna delete the other, that really long intro. That's the word. And I'm going to line this up a little bit, sort of giving this fade some space, just to ensure. I'm going to play it kind of safe here, just to ensure that it doesn't come in. 3. It's just like you can hear him say 1, 2, 3, 4. Hopefully, that'll be how it goes when we start fighting some monsters or people. And if you want to make sure, if you have to cut like this, and you want to make sure that the fade is clean, you can select the little part that you want to fade in, go into Effect, and fade in. There you go. And if this file is longer, you can, there's a fade out effect. So we're going to run into a problem when we use this file in game, which is that there's going to be a huge silence at the end here. And that is the opposite, right? That's the opposite problem of having it too long. And so you should find files that you can trim. It's better to have a file that you can trim than this, because this is a bummer, having all that dead air in game. It's going to pull you out of the game. So, after all that, we are going to export the selected audio. Sometimes Audacity gets its own ideas, so you have to make sure that you're selecting the audio you want to export. And I'm going to maintain that safe, just unchanged, and I'm going to name this new one Pat a Cake Trimmed. And you have to export these as WAV 16-bit or higher. It's kind of a lot to export them as like 32 bits. And it won't really do anything for you. If the original file was an MP3, there's no point to exporting it as 32 bits. It's not like the quality improves after you. It's not. Just pick the 16-bit option. It's a lot. It's just better for you, for your life. So we've done that. Minimize that old friend. And now we're ready to run those scripts. Okay, well, let's run some scripts. Here we go into the Batches and Scripts folder. And before we run them, let's write them. First script that you need to write is the prepare script. Or not script, but the first batch file that you need to start writing is the prepare one. So you go into your Batches and Scripts folder, open up your prepare wave batch file. There it is. Well, it's kind of redundant, but yeah, there it is. And you just simply write, if you have all of these in the same folder, you can simply write this one-line command, prepare _ wave.py. This in case you're watching this on YouTube and it's really small. Py and then space, and then you want to point to the file that the WAV file that you just exported, that you just trimmed nicely and you just exported, and you put that in your modded and then Pat a Cake folder. And there it is, Pat a Cake trimmed.wave. Copy that whole path, paste it up on there, and then this file name you can replace with Pat a Cake Trimmed. You can click rename, copy that text, come on, just to make sure you don't spell it wrong if you're tired after doing this for a really long time. And this number after this space here. This number is the number of loops that it will prepare your file to have. And you really shouldn't have any loops. You should edit your sound to be able to handle, because in the game it'll loop automatically. If it's a loopable sound, it'll loop automatically. And if you force it to have loops, the transitions will get pretty messy, and you can't have messy transitions in a game because it takes you out of it, and you want it to be more immersive, not less. So now that we're done with that, we're going to step away from it for a moment, and we're going to get ready to start using Wwise. And to do that, we have to run this prepare wave script. Just get to it, click on it, and press enter, double click. It goes by pretty quickly. Go to your modded folder, and then pat a kick, and hey, you can see there's this new file. It's a queued file, and you need this for Wwise. There you go. Oh, isn't that pretty? 64-bit. Oh, I always feel so good. So you'll see that I already was just ran through this just to make sure that I was doing the right thing. So let's make a new one. I'm going to name this one Pat Cake Tutorial, I guess. And I'm going to move this to I want to make sure it's all in the same workspace. So I'm going to bring it to a folder which I have named Wwise. You didn't see me do that. Wwise. There you go. Enter. And now I'm going to select that folder. And this is all good. And okay. Ready to go, ready to go, ready to go. Don't worry about this license thing. It really, you have a lot of freedom in the free version, and you can definitely do everything that you need to do. Before we do this stuff, go to your project settings and make sure in your source settings, your default conversion settings are Vorbis quality high selected. Press OK. It's all good. Ready to move on. Now you want to import this buddy here. So go to project and import audio files. Add files and copy this whole path again, and there it is. And click import. Now see that little asterisk shows us where our friend is, where a new friend is. And you don't actually have to do anything in Wwise, really, except for convert. That was a right click, go back, right click, and convert. And that's kind of it for that. Well, that's a pretty quick little thing. But here, it'll be in your best interest to open. Eventually, once you start doing a lot of this, you're going to want to open and arrange several windows, especially if you're doing multiple, if you're working with a lot of sounds. Go to your mod workspace. Go to the Wwise folder, and there's your project. And go to the cache, and into the windows, and into the SFX, and there it is. There's the WEM file that you're looking for. Now, our plan, the thing we're going to do together, is rename this exactly as those files are called. So I'm just going to make a copy of it. Gonna rename it. Here we go. And then this one. Do the same thing. Rename, copy, and paste. Enter. Okay. Alright. Let's take a break, because you're probably going to maybe want to go over that a couple more times. And I guess there will be 3 parts to this. You can do it. There's light at the end of this tunnel. If you're really making a big mod, you know, you're going to feel pretty damn good after doing all this work. Alright, I'll see you in a bit.